My 30F partner, 32M, of 5 years, just told me he has developed feelings for somebody else. Not sure how to cope. He says that nothing happened between them and that he doesn't want to end our relationship. They had a conversation about it, admitting to their feelings for one another, and he told her he had no interest of pursuing anything or leaving me. They work together, so a clean break isn't possible, though he says they haven't been talking or spending time together outside of any professional capacity for a few weeks. I know that developing crushes while in relationships is normal, and that since nothing happened I can't be too upset, but I am still having a really hard time. I have a history of being cheated on, and this is reigniting a lot of those similar feelings of self-loathing. The fact that they spoke about it weeks before he came to me feels like a betrayal. He feels like shit. I feel like shit. Would love to hear about anyone who has been in a similar experience, and any resources you found helpful. TLDR, partner developed feelings for somebody else, doesn't want to break up, not sure where to go from here. Cheating isn't just a physical act, and what was the point in telling you? If nothing happened, what was all the guilt for? So until they had their chat they only flirted? Spent time on the job with each other? Who did he have lunch with? They got caught in a preemptive move. He told you his watered down story because he thinks someone's going to tell you it's your choice, but this isn't the last time he'll pull this by believing everything he told you he heard. Damn, she believed me. I can't cheat, say nothing happened and it's all good.
I'd be a little concerned about this. The first person your partner should have talked to about this was you, not the woman from work B has feelings for. The primary relationship is yours, not theirs, and he should be behaving as such. That would be something you may need to address with him, as it's quite worrying.
He already cheated him. Telling his coworker about his feelings is emotional cheating. Even if he tells her he doesn't want to pursue those feelings, him sharing that is building on his feelings, opening up to her, building an emotional connection with her. If it was a harmless crush, he could work on getting over that without sharing his feelings with her. He crossed boundaries by telling her about his feelings. That alone would be a deal breaker for me. Then add in the fact that he wants to be able to keep working with her. It sounds like wants to be able to absolve himself by dumping this on you and her to emotionally deal with, and doesn't want to inconvenience himself by dealing with the fallout, by finding a new job, etc. He sounds selfish at best. Who cares if he doesn't want to break up? He emotionally cheated, violated relationship boundaries by confessing his feelings to another woman, and wants to be able to see her at work. Doesn't that make you want to break up? You don't need his permission to dump him.
I'm not super concerned he didn't come to you about this before. It sounds like he wasn't sneaking around with her or anything, and he was navigating this appropriately, putting up boundaries. Telling you he had feelings for someone else, that he had no intentions to act on, causes you unnecessary discomfort, in my opinion, especially because he still actively works with her. Did he talk about why it came out now? I think the best path forward is discussing what you did or didn't like about how this was handled, both of you speaking up. Listen to each other, set mutual rules or conditions up that you'd both hope were followed if this were to happen again. Talk about what you're comfortable, uncomfortable with regarding their continued interaction and what you want to know versus not know. I don't think he was definitely in the wrong here or anything, so I think the best thing to do is just use this as a learning moment about how to approach it differently next time.
I have no idea why anyone would want him to have come to you first. Hey honey, this thing is happening that I haven't yet decided how to resolve. Any input you want to give before I talk to this woman? No, he needed to both realize what was happening and either end it or not before coming to you. Anything else would be cruel beyond words. I'd focus your relationship with your partner and rebuilding the loving connection between you. Gottman's 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work is a really helpful resource. This thing happened, he was honest about it, and it can be really confusing and painful when it does happen. In my experience, reminding each other what you love and value about each other and prioritizing your relationship can help rebuild the trust. Don't focus on the hurt too much. It hurts and that's okay, but don't keep rehashing it. Just focus on loving each other, whatever that means to you.
He realized he was on a slippery slope and acted to correct his trajectory. Sure, it had to be a shameful thing to lay it out for you, especially considering your past experience. There would be a lot less to read if more people could catch themselves before things went too far. Congratulations. You have a good one.
He needs to start looking for another job if he wants your relationship to work.
Why would he even tell you about it if they just talked and agreed to not do anything? Of course the insecure women will say this. The dude clearly realized he loves her too much to jeopardize the relationship for some fling. His priority in that moment was not his established partner's skeptical smiley face.
He definitely should have talked to his partner before anyone else. Also, the confessed feelings for each other bit is uncomfortably intimate. If I was in his position and not wanting to do anything with the object of my crush, I wouldn't even tell the other person if they confessed feelings for me. Great. It would be an excuse to distance myself. But confessing his feelings in return just seems too close to exploring possibilities or wistfully considering the what if or something. It just seems to be opening the door to the possibilities of pining looks and a kindred feeling of self-denial and yearning too. Not a safe recipe. OP's partner should really try to find a new job if at all possible.
Thank you. That's a really kind thing for you to say. I appreciate the TED Talk recommendation.
I don't know if there's a proper order of operations, but I think it's fair. He wanted to have the situation fully understood before discussing. It's meaningful that he told you and that he has asked you to support him in making sure you stay together. You can be there for both of you by just keeping your feelings transparent with communication. Sounds like he is willing to help you feel secure within reason. Maybe discuss some boundaries if you need the reassurance and set some checkpoints that can help you build up your confidence. Like, is he still affectionate? Is he making any effort to add distance with that coworker?
This finding someone else objectively attractive is a normal thing. Chris Hemsworth is objectively attractive, however. I am not emotionally or sexually attracted to Chris Hemsworth, as I am loyal to my partner 150%. Ride or die.
Yes, since he realized he had feelings for her.
I think it is admitting those feelings to the person is not normal. He's been weird since everything happened. Distant, sleeping a lot, generally moody and depressed. I noticed because I'm not stupid, and I guess he finally felt bad enough after a few weeks of me asking him if he was okay. Did I do anything wrong? And telling him that I was worried about him.
It's weird as fuck to mutually confess your emotional affair to a coworker and then keep it a secret from your 5-year partner. It's not insecure to be upset about that. Exactly, he's not conducting himself appropriately, and I just wouldn't trust him after this. It took him weeks to come clean after Op was wondering if she'd done something wrong and had to keep asking him as well. It just all feels a bit trickle truth adjacent.
But like, why was it necessary to confess to the coworker to resolve it? He's married. People get crushes all the time in relationships but make the deliberate choice to not engage further. Plenty of crushes just fade over time, especially if you aren't doing anything to feed it. Doing a whole-ass love confession is pretty clearly engaging further, because now both parties are aware that the feeling is mutual and Op is going to be seen as a blockage. I don't think he's demonstrated Op as his primary concern. Most people would have recognized the nascent feelings and made an effort to pull back from the third party or keep it very professional. I really doubt many of y'all would be fine and dandy with your GF coming up to you to say she confessed her feelings to this other dude. He's also interested, but she's gonna stay with you, and then falling into a depressive slump on Valentine's Day. Like, you'd probably feel kinda threatened too.
No, he should have informed his partner and not had the conversation. No, definitely not saying that. Sorry, I guess what I'm saying is that I don't think it is particularly red flaggy behavior as it played out, at least to me. It's not enough for me to think this person was ill-intentioned or worthy of not getting a second chance, but I do think it's a problem for Op with how it played out, and therefore warrants a conversation for the future at the very least.
Why was he hanging out with a random woman without you? Ah, that makes sense.
Still really bad that he talked with her about this first. My partner came to me once last year when he realized that he might be starting to develop a crush on a coworker, and we worked through it. He was open from the start, and I mean, from like week 3 of her being at the company. His feelings didn't develop past friendship feelings in the end, but even that time with good communication was incredibly hard. We would not have been able to work through it if he had talked to her first and then to me about something as serious and hurtful as basically confessing their love for each other. Girl, you say it's not easy for them to stop interacting. If I had a crush on someone outside of my relationship, and I didn't want to put my relationship in jeopardy for it. Then I'd move heaven and earth to switch departments or jobs altogether, and the bare minimum would have been to go to my partner way before going to my crush about this, especially since he went and got confirmation about their shared feelings. That sounds like someone who isn't sure about staying with you to me, and he wanted to know his options. From my personal experience, I would be going insane in your shoes with them working together and acting like them, literally letting it go on long enough for a mutual confession as nothing serious. So don't be angry at me or demand I remove myself from the position I put myself and our relationship into. That would be my time to say, you might still care about me, but if a random crush can sway you enough to confess to them, not tell me and insist on staying close to that crush, then obviously your feelings for our relationship are coming second to your new infatuation, and I'm not going to do the pick-me dance. Just because you can't decide between your girlfriend and your crush, it's time to go our separate ways. Also, some food for thought. You probably remember flirting with people before being in a committed relationship, and you know just as well as anyone else how far flirting has to go before someone confesses. Now, these two have been shady for weeks. He didn't tell you anything during that time, and now he has a nifty confession of their feelings. Meaning they definitely actively flirted and pursued their growing feelings. And there is like a 60 to 70% chance that they kissed or held hands or did other stuff you do during a courting phase before being sure that the other person is also interested. You've already been cheated on. I wouldn't put up with his BS, especially not after how he handled this serious situation and still is handling it awfully.
Sorry, but they've got to the point of acknowledging that they're attracted to each other and not going to do anything about it. A whole lot has happened before for that conversation to happen. And he's acting like he's broken up with her. I honestly don't think I could move past that.